Karen Huntsman is the proud mother of 9 other Huntsmans.
She was the chief operating officer of the noise and the chaos that was our family in the early years growing up.
My mother dedicated her life to raising the 9 of us, and obviously took that role very, very seriously.
When I think of my mother, I think of certain specific words. I think of practical. She was a very practical person, and when she gives advice, it's usually black or white, so you know exactly what she thinks.
Karen's journey, like most people's, has been filled with challenges that have, in their own way, molded and bonded her family.
A lot of people see the Huntsman name, the Cancer Institute, the company, the landmarks, and they think it's always been that way. Well, it hasn't. There were struggles, and there was hardship, and that served to shape my mom.
I think that my mother taught me more than any other thing is the need to try to be good and to be an example of that herself.
The Huntsman family has long been associated with the University of Utah. You can thank Karen for that.
She was of my parents, and their unprecedented contributions to this university really stem from my mother's time here as the University of Utah. She's always had a great love for the university.
She calls herself a worker bee as opposed to a study bee. She said, I would study so hard, I would study and study, and the next morning I wouldn't remember anything that I studied. She says, don't tell them, because if they know that, they may take away my honorary degree that they're giving to me. And I said, Mom, at this stage in life, they probably don't care about what kind of student you were in the classroom.
I think she sees the you as an extension of the values that she was raised with. It all came together on campus in ways that I think gave her great comfort growing up.
At an early point in their marriage, even before they could afford it, the Huntsmans always wanted to share with others.
It was important for my mother and my father to do something bigger than themselves. They always wanted to be engaged and involved in ways that made a difference in the community.
The primary focus of our family, and as we look at our charitable endeavors, it's quite simple. It's to alleviate human suffering.
One thing that distinguishes my mom from a lot of people out there is her level of passion and drive. When she decides that there is something worth pursuing, no one's going to stop her. It's what I love about her.
It's Karen's can-do spirit that helped lead to the creation of the Huntsman Cancer Institute. And as for the Huntsmans, it hit home and is very personal.
Generally, initiatives like these are born out of personal experience and the passion that's associated with your own journey in life. So cancer has been a part of our family. My dad had it. My mom is now fighting it.
My mother spent a considerable amount of time making sure that as the patient was going through and receiving their care, they had a space that they were comfortable in, that really developing spaces there in which they're able to bring their family together.
As Karen and the family looked deeper into the societal challenges in our community, everything kept coming back to mental health. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute was born.
When you start looking at the numbers of those who suffer from mental health and the permutations that come from that, the way it impacts families and loved ones and communities, it's devastating.
My mother began to take a much greater role in leading this effort out and really looking at how can we build upon the resources that are already here in the community.
And who better to help lead that charge? Well, the person who sort of drove cancer with passion and focus, my mom, who is now doing the same thing around mental health.
Having lived a full life of service and dedication to her family and community, what would her advice be to the graduating class of 2022?
I would like to think that she would say that your incredible education that you just received, your job that you're just going to be embarking on, are just a means to an end. The ends being to help alleviate human suffering, to leave this world a better place.